It's the last days. Didn't they tell you? The sun is searing the earth beneath it, making it impossible to leave the house during the day without being burned alive. Monsters wearing human skin are clawing their way up from underground, infiltrating the scattered humans. At night, they form packs and tear their human prey apart, the stench of blood filling the air. But you can't stay alone. Bad things happen to people by themselves. But who do you let into your house? Can you tell the difference between a human in need and one of these cruel visitors? Tonight, we're going to examine the game No, I'm Not Human by Triascaz. It's a proof of concept and part of a horror anthology, but the team are working to release a full version by itself. The game is simple and subtle, and it hides a depth unusual for such a small game. Dogs rule the world, and only dogs will be here. You're awoken by a knock on the door in the middle of the night. It's your neighbour. He warns you that, since things have changed, lots of people are leaving the city and you'll have to let some stay. But you need to be careful. People have been killing others. There's even rumours of creatures that look like humans hiding among the refugees. The news will tell us more as the scientists figure it out. But you can't stay alone. Who knows what could happen? He says it's safe to look out your windows at night, but not during the day. The sun is so hot and bright it burns your eyes. He offers to stay the night to help you out. The next morning, the news says that the heat has broken world records. It might get worse, so make sure you wear a hat. They're downplaying the severity of the issue. Even indoors, the heat is so bad it's sapping your strength. Your neighbour explains what you can do. Anyone you let stay, you can talk to them during the day. And you should be letting at least some people in, because there's someone asking around about you, asking if you're living alone. When you do talk to people, watch out for signs of the visitors. If you find one, well, it's your choice what to do about it. Or you can just drink your days away. At night, you can finally look through your window to see the world around you. The neighbour's lights are on, waiting for him to come home. There's even some teenagers hanging out together. It's surprisingly normal. The world is adjusting to not being able to go out during the day. At the front door, your neighbour's daughter comes to take him home. Now you're all alone, so you better make some friends. The first option is a tall man, extremely tall. He says he was kicked out of a bar he was staying in because they didn't get along. Well, better than nobody, right? Next is a nervous woman, again with odd proportions. 2 new friends, for the time being. The next morning's news is a grim wake-up call. There was a powerful solar flare that increased the Earth's temperature. A state of emergency has been declared. Nobody is allowed out during the day. There's even reports of aliens or people from underground. These supposed guests have perfect white teeth. You better look in on your own guests. You can ask them how to recognize these apparent invaders. The tall man has no idea about them, only that they want to kill normal humans. The nervous woman knows they have perfect teeth, but don't people usually have nice teeth? But what of the cataclysm? Can they tell us anything? The sun is exploding. It's hell on earth. Nobody trusts anyone anymore. The nervous woman doesn't know anything about it, only that it's horrible. She saw some kids outside that got burned to death by the heat of the sun, the same ones we saw relaxing together last night. Well, enough chatter. It's time to check their teeth. The tall man isn't happy about it, but obliges. His teeth are yellow and stained. The nervous woman, she's had her teeth done, or so she says. Can you take a risk? What if the stories of the visitors are just made up? Can you really kill someone over a story? It's too early to turn into a monster. You go to bed and wake up to knocking on the door. The neighbour is playing outside with his daughter. It reminds you of your own childhood, a nicer time. The teenagers are dead. They weren't burned like the nervous woman said, though. They look like they've been murdered. There's an odd man outside. His skin doesn't fit. You hope he's not looking at you. The first visitor is a woman wearing a thick jacket. Despite the heat, she can only feel the cold. Next, a short man in a stained shirt, some kind of zealot, ranting about the sun. The more the merrier, you suppose. But there's one more guest. A stranger one than usual, if that's even possible. He has a bald head, black, tired eyes, and a puffy face. He speaks in a mysterious way, but he doesn't want to stay like the rest. He just wants to tell your fortune if you pick a page out of his book. The dead will come and tell, and he will not be believed. What does that mean? The night ends. The TV blares a new announcement, or perhaps it's a warning. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, have ramped up operations. You may see them around in their distinctive hazmat suits, and you must listen to their commands. Furthermore, FEMA are running tests to find visitors, and have found a new sign. They have dirt under their nails from when they dig themselves out of the ground. Time to check. First, the nervous woman. That's 2 for 2. You check in on your new arrivals. The zealot rants about the sun's wrath and how the visitors are all aliens. The sun is both punishing humanity for thousands of years of sin, but also protecting us from the visitors. It'll all be okay, soon enough. He happily lets you check his fingernails and teeth, but he doesn't show signs of being a visitor. The cold woman in the coat, though, well, there's a corpse in the room next to her. The tall man was killed. Before you check her, you ask her about the visitors. What even are they? Mutated humans, she says, who have absorbed the anger of thousands of years, perhaps not so different than what the zealot says. The visitors are our reflections, who we would never want to see or know. But now they're here, and we have to put up with them. You check her hands. According to what the TV said, she's a visitor, and you need to deal with her. But that can't be right, right? You can't just shoot someone because the TV says so. On the TV is a message, or perhaps an advertisement, for FEMA. You really can trust them, we promise. You shoot her. That night, the windows show the escalation. FEMA surrounds your neighbour's property. Next, the same examining the now scorched corpses of the teens, and finally, a squad of soldiers talking about a tall, pale man. You've seen him before. And now, he's here for you. How's it going here? Is everything okay? He asks, after a long silence. Listen, are you alone in the house? Just curious. You're reading someone's fortune, promising salvation to some, driving some away. You're lucky tonight. I can hear someone whispering in your rooms. But who knows what will happen tomorrow? He leaves into the night. There's 3 other people who show up to your door tonight. A widow carrying the corpse of her husband, just looking for a place to rest for a short while. A greasy little man not taking anything seriously, except the thought he can make a quick buck. And finally, a doctor. Always good to have a doctor around. FEMA have organised quarantine zones for people showing signs of being a visitor. Visitors, according to them, are merely people suffering from an illness. They've even discovered a new symptom: bloodshot red eyes, supposedly caused by the bright sun. When you leave your room, you smell death. The zealot has been killed overnight. Enough is enough. Time to check everyone again. First, the widow. Her eyes are bloodshot, but she says she's been crying. Her hands are normal, so she's probably fine. Then, the nervous woman. There's no doubt now. She's a visitor. The doctor. He has odd eyes, but a logical explanation for it. You have to be careful what you do. In this heat, your energy drains quickly. Finally, the con man. Even after your checks, you're not entirely sure. You'll have to check them all again tomorrow, and any new arrivals. You can't risk another person ending up dead. The TV says that brush fires are burning out of control all over the country. There's not much to be done about that. You look out at your neighbour's house once the sun goes down. It's on fire. Was it FEMA, the visitors, or a brush fire? Does it matter at this point? The next window. The smiling man is holding the head of a soldier, staring in. The final window. The squad of soldiers, all dead. There's a knock at the door. It's FEMA. About time they arrived. They're here to take one of you for testing, but don't worry, they'll return them shortly. You just wait here until the tests are complete, and they'll evacuate you all soon. They take the widow to test for solar radiation. It's not like you can argue against them, though. They all have better guns than you do. A strange, evil-looking man in a suit is the first to knock on your door afterwards. We're all beasts now, he says. Surely someone so obvious wouldn't be a visitor, right? Then, your neighbour's daughter, wailing at the loss of her father. A man who appears to be a hunter, eager to get revenge on visitors for making a fool of him and stealing his gun. Finally, a large woman who was kicked out of the last place she stayed by FEMA. How many visitors did you just let in, you wonder? A new symptom on the news. If you take a photo of a visitor, they're blurred, like they jumped in the last second, startled by the flash. In other news, compassionate individuals are providing aid where FEMA are failing. In fact, you've heard almost nothing good about FEMA from your guests at all. Are they actually helping anyone? What are they even doing? The end will come when every human being becomes an enemy of each other. We are not far from that fate. That's why we need to stay in the pack. A pack is a good thing, but keep your eyes open. Any pack will fall apart without a strong leader. Time to take some photos. You got them all, at least, according to what the TV said. You can rest calmly knowing you tried your best. There's one more night. Outside, the neighbour's house is a burned out husk. No more feelings of nostalgia. It's far too gone for that. The soldier's head is reduced to a skull, planted on a stick to serve as a permanent warning. The bodies of the soldiers have been removed, but in their place the body of a man is strung up. A mob thought he was a visitor, and they turned him into a sign. FEMA's at the door again. They want one more person to test. One wasn't enough, you see. Not like you can argue. Then, a familiar face. The smiling man. What do you think of the one in the suit? He asks. He doesn't care about your answer. Say, are you alone in the house? Luckily, you're not. Do you know what you're getting ready for? It's the last days. Didn't they tell you? Dogs rule the world, and only dogs will be here. Have a good stay. And then he's gone. Into the night again. One final guest, the fortune teller. But what comes next is a terrible secret. You're back. It's not for long. I just walk around and observe what's happening, how the world is changing, and I don't yet feel that the glaciers are going to melt anytime soon. Looks like we're in for birds raining from the sky. What does that mean? You tell me. Is this supposed to be the end? Or are we yet to smell more gunpowder? I can't see beyond my nose anymore. Probably nothing to wait for. What can we do? I don't know. I'll just keep watching. That's all I can do. What will you do? You survived the week, but they can't trust you. Too much blood has been spilled, almost entirely by you. It doesn't matter that it was to keep everyone safe. You're forced to leave your own house. How long could you possibly last in the sun? That leaves us with a lot of questions. Who are the visitors? Who is the smiling man? What is happening to the sun? What are FEMA really doing? All of the information in the game is suspect. It's hard to know exactly how much of what the visitors tell us we can trust, but then again, it's hard to trust what the humans say too, because most of it seems like rumours or ramblings. The news too is hard to trust because they're obviously a mouthpiece for FEMA, whose actions don't exactly match their words. When piecing this information together, well, we'll just have to do the best we can. Let's examine these questions, one at a time. What do we know about the visitors? They're a widespread phenomenon, at least all around the country. They appear almost exactly like normal people, but with certain tells: bloodshot eyes, perfect teeth, dirt under their nails, and appearing blurry in photographs. It's not clear if this is just how photographs capture their bodies, or if they jump in the bright flash. Importantly, they often don't seem to know that they are visitors, or at least they have a good poker face when about to be shot. Some are very aware of their status and are happy to hand out veiled threats. The visitors infiltrate human settlements and, if there's more than one, start killing normal humans. They attack quickly, brutally, and gleefully, if all the stories are to be believed. Thus, their human masks are just that. Masks hiding their true, hideous nature. They are the minions of the smiling man, who calls them his boys. If there's only visitors in your house when he visits, it's game over. He is obviously malicious, preying on people who are alone, although he doesn't have any issues slaughtering an entire squad of soldiers. If he's so strong, why can't he just force his way in and kill you and any other humans inside? Why can't he take you if there's even a single other human, even if the house is brimming with visitors? It brings to mind vampires who traditionally cannot enter a house without permission. In fact, there's a lot of allusions to vampires. The visitor's aversion to the sun, everyone only moving around at night, and the first check, checking their teeth. Even the visitors digging themselves out of the ground is similar to the old idea that buried corpses could be vampires in disguise. Are they just vampires then? Well, not quite, but we'll go over theories after we've covered all the facts. There's a few questions we can ask the people about the visitors. You'd be forgiven for assuming that anything the visitors say themselves couldn't be trusted, but I think they can. Not only do a lot of the visitors not seem to know that they actually are visitors, but the ones that do seem to delight in taunting you with their cruelty. With that in mind, I think we can trust their stories about the horrible things they do, and even what they might be. What do you know about the visitors? I know no more than you. They just want us to kill each other. I'm so scared that a visitor could be anyone. They're terrifying, monstrous creatures that mimic humans. Or maybe they skin people and wear it like a suit, and all this just to seem more familiar to us. I hope I never see what they truly look like. They're visitors from another planet who have been growing for 8 years. When they emerged, the sun smote the land to help us, to burn away our sins. I don't know. They're damned beasts who deceive us to slaughter us one by one, under cover of night. You need to kill them before they kill you. It will be interesting to see who the visitors really are, if we live to see it. They're mutated humans who have absorbed the anger of thousands of years. They are our reflection, our antipodes, who we would never want to see or to know. But they are there, and now we have to put up with them somehow. The sun is burning and scorching the earth. It's so hot that nobody can survive being outside during the day. Even talking during the day drains your energy. You can't look outside the windows for fear of damaging your eyes and skin. Scientifically, all we know is that the sun is sending out solar flares, and that's it. It appears like a real cataclysm, the end of days, but it's just rumours and faith. So, what are the rumours and faith? The sun is exploding. I think it's got something to do with the visitors. It's no coincidence that the sun started burning us when they crawled out of the ground. It's hell on earth. It's balancing the cosmic powers. It's because of us, the sinners. The sun is punishing us for the sins we've committed for thousands of years. It's helping us. Can't you see? It's smoking out the visitors from the ground. It's the end for them, not us. I don't care. It's a pointless question. It's the end of everything. People are to blame. What difference does it make if we can make money off of it? All bad things come to an end anyway. We have no way of knowing what's really going on, and I'd like to think it isn't the end. Humanity has faced countless disasters that come back from the brink. Each time people have kept fighting, even when hope seemed lost. The end will come when every human being becomes an enemy of each other. We are not far from that fate. Hardly a consensus. So what do the people think about FEMA? The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, are responsible for the organised government effort to combat the visitors. That's what they say, at least. But it's not so clear in practice. The first time they knock on your door, they take a member of your household to test for radiation. It's odd. Do they really need to test for solar radiation? It might be a white lie to not scare you or tip off any visitors who may be in the house. If so, then why the hazmat suits? The FEMA member claims the suit is to protect them in case they're caught in the sun, but people are baked alive by the sun. A suit like that isn't going to help. Hazmat suits are obviously to protect from an infection or hazardous material. So, what infectious material do they need protection from? FEMA are disliked by almost every person you can allow into your house. Only a couple of people have a positive view, like the doctor, and even he acknowledges his opinion is in the minority. Why does everybody hate FEMA? They take anyone they like to test and shove people into the quarantine camps. They're hunting the visitors, but treating regular people cruelly too. They're even withholding help from those in need, like the widow, who claims her husband would still be alive if they had helped her. They're a vision of a strict authoritarian response to a large-scale outbreak, treating the diseased and the healthy like animals to be herded up. The game takes obvious inspiration from the global pandemic. Everyone is locked inside their house and can only sneak out at night. Harsh yet ineffective government crackdowns to try to isolate the afflicted. People turning on each other. New symptoms being discovered each day. Your family being turned into potentially deadly carriers of the disease. People have made note that the pandemic isn't brought up much in media, but really, it's small indie games like this that are openly wearing this influence and telling these stories. Governments worldwide were caught off guard by the virus, and many people think they overreacted, saying they became authoritarian, cruel and ineffective like FEMA in this game. The people too represent how people reacted to the pandemic, but also large-scale horrible events in general. Their personalities are all relatively one-note and simple, but that's intentional to highlight these reactions. Some of us break down crying and terrified. Some of us become apathetic. Some become greedy. And some see others as potential prey. And some of us try to help others and try to see the best in the situation. Humanity can come together. It's not easy when our natural state is to focus on ourselves, but in a world-shaking disaster, the only option is to help each other. Or, simply put, die. The dead will come and tell, and he will not be believed. This is a line spoken by the most mysterious character in a game full of mystery. Who exactly is he talking about? The line itself is similar to verses from the Bible. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word, and believeth on him that sent me, hath everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. These verses are being spoken by Jesus. In short, this segment is about how Jewish leaders at the time had chastised Jesus for breaking their religious rules. Jesus responds by establishing his divinity, then prophecies about the resurrection of the dead. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good, unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil, unto the resurrection of damnation. All the dead shall rise. Those who have done good and accepted Christ shall be granted eternal life. Those who have done evil and rejected Christ shall be scorched and damned. It seems that the visitors may be dead sinners brought back to life to face judgment. Naturally, the smiling man then would be the devil. Contrary to depictions in movies, the devil cannot do much without your permission. He cannot enter your heart without you letting him. Sinful actions may be easy, fun, or otherwise appealing, but they are still your own choice at the end of the day. The smiling man cannot enter your house unless you let him, or unless your sin is so great that you fill your house with visitors. The devil takes you if you do not act with enough diligence in weeding out sin, or if you do not act with enough virtue by saving those who need it. While each person you can let enter into your house does seem to represent a different way people react to disasters, I don't think they match perfectly to sins and virtues. For example, apathy is not a virtuous way to react to this situation, but the widow is a human. In reverse, the hunter tells you to be vigilant and to hunt down visitors, a virtuous action, but he himself is a visitor. The visitors are similar to vampires in appearance and action. The vampires are historically represented as anti-Christian, being terrified of the crucifix. They hate the sun, not because of the scientific property of the light, but because it is an ancient symbol of goodness and divinity, their antipode. And, like mentioned previously, visitors and vampires share other features like needing permission to enter and being born underground. If FEMA aren't lying about visitorness being spread like a disease, it follows along with vampirism too. It can be spread and contracted, and in some games is even treated exactly like a disease, such as in Skyrim. The developers of this game, Triaskaz, are a Russian team. The common Russian vampire legend is about an entity called the Wurdalak. The Wurdalak, after resurrecting, returns to its home to feed specifically on its family and household. Another name in Russian for the vampire is Upir, which also refers to witches, werewolves, or sinners excommunicated from the church. The word Wurdalak itself may be a corrupted version of the East Slavic word Volkodlak, meaning wolf hide, i.e. someone who wears a wolf hide, a werewolf. All this to say that the Russian vampire has a strong connection to sinners, feeding on your own house, and someone who is a wolf in sheep's clothing, a term explicitly brought up in game to refer to the visitors. Just another note, but there is a kind of Russian ghoul, a living kind, that carries its dead partner on its back, exactly like the widow. The game is steeped in Russian mythology, and I suspect much of it goes over our heads in the West. If the visitors are based on sinners and vampires, that means the game is suggesting that sin is spread from one person to another. I don't think the game is directly comparing sin to a disease, but it is a second-order implication from the link between visitors, sin, and vampirism. To explain, the neutral ending occurs when both visitors and humans have been killed in your house. You've done a lot for those you let in, but too much blood has been spilled. You are too dangerous to stay in this house. You must leave. You are being driven out of your own home by people fearing for their safety. You didn't live one day, and burned by the scorching sun outside. Because you allowed violence into your house and became violent yourself, you let sin in and were punished for it, thrown out into hell. The end will come when every human being becomes an enemy of each other. We are not far from that fate. That's why we need to stay in the pack. A pack is a good thing, but keep your eyes open. Any pack will fall apart without a strong leader. The suited man is telling you what the plan of the smiling man is. He wants you corrupted, and murderous, or at least apathetic, to allow for the normal humans to be killed and turned away. Then, you can be torn apart by the visitors or taken by the smiling man. The large woman tells you not to let anyone else in. The man in plaid likewise tempts you by telling you to kill, and chides you for letting so many people in. The cold woman in the jacket stresses that she's not afraid to die, even when you aim your gun right in her face. They're trying to tempt you to sin, trying to spread their disease to you. FEMA have it half correct. They're right in that this condition can spread, but their suits can't stop it. They're right that the visitors are humans suffering from a condition, but no amount of treatment or quarantine camps can fix it now. But why is that? Why can't it be fixed? What is actually happening in No, I'm Not a Human? It's the end of days, the biblical kind. The rising of the visitors and the sun scorching the earth happened at the same time because it's part of the same event. It's time for the virtuous and the sinful dead to reawaken, but for some reason, only the sinners rose up. As far as we've seen, the virtuous dead have not been granted new bodies in eternal life. The gates of hell have been swung wide open, and Lucifer himself leads the charge. The visitors, these sinners, do his bidding. They infiltrate and then, at night, they tear their victims apart piece by piece, gleeful in their violence. All the visitors tell you not to open your doors, that you don't show the virtue of hospitality and save those who need saving. Even the one who tells you to stay in a pack expects everyone to turn on each other eventually. There are some other signs of the apocalypse, although I admit it is very vague. In the book of Revelations, 3 things in particular might have been used as inspiration. It's said that humanity will hide in caves in the mountains, similar to how people have to hide in their homes. Wildfires will burn across the surface of the world, and the news says that there are brush fires burning uncontested. There are 2 wandering witnesses that speak God's word to the people, and that may have been the inspiration for the bald man. These 2 witnesses get tortured, so if I'm right, then I fear for our cryptic friend. There are, of course, myriad other signs of the apocalypse that are missing from the game, so it's not one-to-one with the biblical apocalypse. At least, not yet. However, the scorching of the sinners is plain to see. As the visitors clawed their way up from hell, the sun lit up to obliterate their souls. None can withstand the glory of the heavens, the sun. Not even humans, because even virtuous humans are fallen and have inherited sin. FEMA are trying to control the visitors, but it's impossible. The visitors hide too well, and there's too many of them. The government is trying to control the messaging by pretending they're hunting for irradiated people, that the visitors are just people who are suffering from a disease, but neither of those are quite true. When asked about why they're wearing hazmat suits, they say it's to prevent damage from the sun, but it's to prevent disease. They're getting their lies mixed up. It's likely they're lying to prevent mass panic. Their tactics will become increasingly authoritarian as control slips through their fingers during this fight they cannot win. Soon, they'll begin to take extreme actions to ensure they stay in control. If kidnapping and moving people weren't extreme enough already. Depending on how obvious the developers want to be with their metaphor, we may even see a vaccine being distributed in the full version of the game. And, of course, this is a theory based on what is basically a demo version of a full game, which is already confirmed to have some character and gameplay changes. So even if this theory is correct for the current version, it may change in the final release. Although I do expect that the full game will develop this theme further. The exact events in the apocalypse have been debated for a long time, and it's clear they have their own twist on them. I won't give a full list of the events of Revelations here, but perhaps we will see the 4 horsemen, rains of fire and blood, a great comet in the sky, or similar. The book is quite dense, and there is a lot to draw inspiration from. I'd just like to end this section by saying that researching Russian beliefs was a bit tricky since most of the sources are in Russian. And while automatic translation is better these days, it's still far from perfect. Please forgive me if I got any of the details of Russian belief incorrect, and please forgive me if I also mispronounced any of the names. Sinners rising, led by the devil to hunt down and tear apart the increasingly few remaining humans. Desperate governments turning to harsher methods of control, only to keep failing. The sun searing the earth below of its sins. Altogether, this paints a picture of a very grim world with only rare rays of hope. Is the doctor right? Can humanity work together and overcome this threat? Or will they be slaughtered like lambs by the visitors, crushed under the boot of FEMA, or burned to cinders under the weight of their own sins? If it is truly inspired by revelations, then the story ultimately has a happy ending, but there's a lot of suffering and torment that happens between the start and the end. What do you think? Do you think it's the end of days? That the visitors are an army of sinners from hell led by the devil himself? That the skies will rain fire and blood and the 4 horsemen will ride? Or that the visitors are merely some kind of vampire? If not, what do you think is happening? Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please consider becoming a patron. It's the best way to support content like this. You can get access to scripts, teasers, videos a week earlier before the general public, and, of course, your name in the credits. Thank you very much to those who have already supported. Their names are on screen now. I also regularly post free articles there with behind-the-scenes information about my videos. Thank you again for watching, and remember, you'd better not be alone in the dark, because things prey on the lost and lonely.